Yeah, and then I became a vampire.
The logic does not track.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Logan is a vampire confirmed. And welcome back to Zany Talks.
And a demon.
What?
I'm moving out.
You can't. Your soul's mine.
Yeah, the sole of my shoe. Read the fine print in the contract.
These guys are something else. I don't know what I didn't sign any papers with them, and I'm glad of it.
I would be.
Not that you know of.
I have a copy of everything I've ever signed. Do you?
Yes. In blood in my basement.
You don't have a basement.
Not that you know of.
It's the space between the second floor and the first floor. There's a little square cutout, and you open it up, and there's just that little spot in between there. That's where he's got everything stored.
Oh, at least someone knows where it's at. Anyway, we're back in our normal place, kind of.
Yes, after the Let's Have a Drink episode.
Yes, which I will confirm was interesting. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it.
Now. Anyways, as it is customary on this podcast, we start out with small talk. So, Brennan, have you attempted to do, was it boxing or working out for you?
So I have started working out. Boxing will end up starting probably after June 21st.
That's a very specific date.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know you've seen a couple of my Instagram posts that I put up a while back. I need to put out a couple more of them. But basically, I've decided that there are a few things that I need to change with my current lifestyle and habits. And I need to have them changed before I turn 21, which will be June 18th. And then after June 18th, I won't be able to start boxing until the next week. So, and June 21st is that weekend, so.
It sounds like you've got a good plan on your belt.
Yeah.
Thomas,
Well,
have you gotten the ability to get to attempt to look into it?
No. And for those who didn't watch last episode of Let's Have a Drink, what we're talking about is the things that we were going to try at the end of that episode.
Oh yeah, the one thing I did start trying just now is learning a second language. German.
How's your...
Eventually, I would like to move on from German to Italian, Irish, and then eventually I think it just can be fun to learn a couple dead languages like Gaelic and Latin.
I see.
Because very few people actually speak those.
Yeah. You just walk up to Xander one day and just start speaking Latin to him.
Middle of a D&D session.
Oh, goodness. That
I'm going to
would
make
be
the big bad speak Latin. Only Latin.
Goodness. I'm going to have to
That's not a language I know.
I'm going to have to give my character to know Latin, and then you're going to have to translate it for me.
Either that or Irish or Gaelic. They're very similar languages, because Scottish Gaelic is a combination of like Old Irish, Old Scottish, and a couple others in the area. But their curses are rather unique.
Interesting. Yeah, and to answer your question, Logan, I haven't had much time, but I'm in the Discord now. That's a start.
That is a start.
And to remind you guys, what I'm going to try to do is basically make I want to start making, since I have access to a 3D printer and a shop, make different accessories for my computer and games. Kind of like a Stream Deck where you have buttons that you can program. And
You gotta-
a little bit more interactive, like a wheel or a button console for a simulator.
You got to make the Helldiver's wrist attachment.
Got that right here.
Yeah, I know.
But just making some of that. And first step in that is going to be, I forget what the name of it is, but it's a VR glove that uses motors to tension your fingers. So when you grab something in VR, it's physical resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And I really thought it was cool, and it's an open source project, so I'm hoping to start working on that. But no, I haven't had much time. That's my life.
Been rather busy.
Yes, as always. How about you, Logan?
I looked into sword. Okay, so the two I chose kind of took a short and a long term. My short was trying racing on video games or having a racing setup.
Mm-hmm.
And my other one was learning how to use a sword. I started looking into what sword style I want. There's kind of your Japanese and Middle Eastern HEMA, and they each are different in their own ways. HEMA, Middle Eastern longsword, that is more of lunging, where the Japanese sword style is more quick movements. You don't lunge, you jump quickly.
Well, also the Japanese swords were more designed for slashing than
Yes.
actually stabbing.
More slash. Let's go.
And
Mhm.
yeah, and the Japanese style has not been lost to time like European sword styles have. It has been kept alive this whole time, so it is. People know more about that sword style than they do of HEMA.
Mm-hmm. Definitely an interesting choice. And one day I hope that I will be able to join you on that.
Mhm.
If not, just learn how to forge them.
I think I'm gonna learn how
That'd
to
be cool.
use
I do
a
have a forge.
a samurai sword first, which I think I'll attempt to do Kimbo first. I think that's how it's
Kendo?
called. Kendo,
Kendo.
yes.
Yeah.
So Kendo is one.
I don't
is
have
the
any
sword.
trainers for that.
I know
There's one in the cities.
there used to be a spot in the mall here.
Yeah, it still is active, I think.
Yeah, I don't know how good it is, but it always caught my interest because I always thought that kendo and something like that would be
There's a
pretty cool.
Kendo
to
place
learn.
in Alec.
I believe there's one in the mall.
I've looked around, but I haven't. Maybe it's not on Google Maps. I'll have to.
It was one that caught my attention, but because I thought kendo was cool, but I wasn't too sure as to how good it would be, so I never really looked that deep into it. I don't know if it's still there. I think it is, but I haven't been in the mall here for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Kendo is the sword style of going for your opponent's wrist
Mhm.
as fast as possible. There's another style which is the more flashy of quick drawing your sword as fast as possible to end the fight, and then the last one is your kind of flashy sword fighting,
Mm-hmm.
where you're more active and moving around the mat.
Yeah,
So I think I want to try learning Kendo first,
I
since
see.
it's more of the simple sword style.
You can
If
start.
there's not a place in Alec, then I'll attempt to learn it by my own, or I will be going down to the Twin Cities and trying to learn it.
Yeah, if you start like really getting into that, and after I start getting into boxing, I might have to actually join you with that at some point. I've always been fascinated with martial arts. Kendo I always thought would be kind of fun. Any sword style I think would be kind of fun, but I never really looked too deeply into it because I don't think it would be as practical as others.
Yeah.
But a while back, I did a speech on how good martial arts is for you as a person.
Mhm.
Because not only is it exercise, and it's an exercise of your entire body, everything,
Yeah.
but it also teaches stuff like discipline, because you have to be disciplined in order to learn everything. But it also has a really good mental health benefits as well. That's from practicing. I don't think fighting has as good mental health benefits, especially with something like boxing where you're getting pummeled in the head several times.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the gym I'm looking at, the owner teaches boxing, so I'm looking into that. But then he also rents out the gym to someone who teaches jujitsu.
Mm.
So I do want to for sure look into both of those because that would be both striking and then also grappling.
Yeah.
Which I think would be just really good.
And that's that also leans heavily on throws as well, right?
Takedowns more so, I believe. I haven't looked into jiu-jitsu for quite a while. Not since that speech, which was 4 years ago-ish.
Okay.
And then when I was younger, I had started Taekwondo and never got really far because
How far did you get?
I only got to the orange stripe before things got too inconvenient and expensive for the number of my family that were all involved in it. And we had an easier time getting to where the classes were than the teachers did, so they just weren't consistent enough that we started letting it go. And then I actually started, when I did my research paper and looked into more stuff, I learned that Taekwondo, as I mentioned to a couple of you, it was founded because the Koreans wanted to know how to jump in the air and kick someone off a horse.
Yep. Gotta kick them off a horse.
Yep.
I can, and sharpen a long stick and, poke them as they get close. No, we're just going to jump up there and kick them in the head.
I'll never expect it.
Yeah, I learned Taekwondo too when I was younger.
How far did you get?
Brown belt.
Ooh, nice.
So I got actually close to being a black belt. I just kind of lost interest in it because was it middle school or high school that I stopped. Anyways, I stopped and I was like, I just don't want to go farther.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, it was getting out of the way to go to classes.
Mm. Taekwondo, I think, would be interesting to go back to at some point. I'd like to finish it, but boxing and jiu-jitsu are probably going to be the two I look into first because they're the most easily accessible for me.
Yeah, there's a few places around Alec that teach that stuff.
Mm.
I have thought about getting back into possibly those fighting styles again. So, yeah. I might get into boxing with you, but first I'm going to figure out what sword style I want to hit. I want to look into a few more things because HEMA, it might be better to self-learn because there's not many instructors for it, and it's also being rediscovered as it goes too. Not like the Japanese sword style, which has been preserved for as long as possible.
Well, you guys seem to know a lot more about what you're shooting for than I do.
To be honest, for my swords thing, I was already partially looking into it.
I see. Well, I think I don't have any other small talk.
Not really right now.
So
Me and Brennan played Airsoft. That was fun.
We did. There's another game next week. Probably won't make it to with the way
Neither.
things are going. But the other reason I picked June 21st is that'll be when a very large-scale Airsoft game is.
That's right.
My uncle and his cousin are putting together, and they've got a good structure around everything. I don't know if they're basing it on real battles, but they've got.
What I've heard from Thomas, because I poked him about
not
it.
me.
Yeah, your uncle.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a terrorist group and a military organization.
Yeah, that's kind of what it sounded like they were thinking
Yeah.
about. But they got it planned out so, like, if one side wins, what does it move on to next? What advantages do they get? What disadvantages do the other group get? And it's supposed to span the entire day, so I'm looking forward to that one.
I see. I've always been interested in airsoft, but I know nothing about it.
Yeah, if you want to come out sometime. I know my uncle has a bunch of extra guns, so he does rent them out. I will be purchasing a couple more, which I intend to basically loan out to friends who will come out. So if you want to come out at some point,
I will definitely keep it in mind.
yeah, I'll try and keep you posted on when the games are.
Much appreciated. Anyway, I think we have a bit of a different episode today.
Yes, we do.
No one's gonna hear you if you lower your voice that much, but
Yes, we do.
I don't know what's going on with them.
Play the clip.
Okay. Well, I don't know what this is, but let's have a listen.
The woods can be a nice, calm place to unwind.
Everything was fine until I saw the deer, and the stench hit me.
Until it's not.
It was a 9-foot-tall, hairy beast. It started transforming. It stood up on its hind legs. It was a small, pale white figure.
And the legends of the forest reveal themselves.
It was Bigfoot. It was the Wendigo. I don't know what it was.
Join me as we investigate the legends of the forest.
That was something.
So that was my own creation. The music was done by ours truly, Xander. Pixel Jack. Call him out on Instagram real quick. So yeah, today is about legends of the forest, like Bigfoot and other things like that. Thought you'd be a good pick for this one.
I'll say I'm an interesting pick. I know you've expressed to me that you do believe that Bigfoot exists and is out there. I know Thomas has a beat. Actually, I don't really know what Thomas's perspective on Bigfoot and the Wendigo is. I personally do not believe in him, but I am fascinated with the stories around him.
Yes. I'm like a kind of 50-50 on it.
I would agree.
I
mean, there has to be something out there that we don't know about or know fully about. But at the same time, some of the stories behind him.
I thoroughly enjoy horror and suspense and stories about like cryptids, SCP Foundation. So I haven't looked into these two specifically a whole lot, but I do have a decent general knowledge about stories about them and then things like them.
I see. Yeah. So, I might be making more of those in the future of sound bits. I did buy a full-on subscription to a sound platform.
Oh.
Yes. So if you ever want sound effects, just come to me.
Okay.
It's hard to find sound effects. You'd
It
think
is.
it'd be easier to find it, but no, it's actually quite hard to find certain sound effects.
Yeah.
It took me about an hour just to find all the sound effects that were in that video.
Unless you have, I feel like unless you have like a good resource that you are personally connected to, and unless you're good at describing the sound exactly as it is, as a way that everybody would describe it, it's really difficult to actually
Find what you're looking
take
for.
the sound in your head and put it into words to find. You always end up with something that's not exactly what you want.
Yeah, you don't know how many sound reels I've heard of bones and flesh ripping. There's surprisingly more than one.
Well, yeah. Have you seen the horror genre?
No, but I've seen the sound bit catalog.
That is for sure.
Yeah. I can't remember what website I used because I made that like over a month ago.
You should probably keep track of that if you're paying them.
I should. I think I paid for a year subscription for it.
This coming from the person who claims to have a copy of everything that he signed.
Well, I recently
Where's
restarted my computer, so I have to re-download a lot of things. So yeah. But anyways,
The Wendigo.
we can start off with the Wendigo. Wendigo is interesting. Do you know what about the Wendigo?
The Wendigo.
I know, so a lot of the stuff that I've listened to and read kind of combine both the Wendigo and the Not Deer and kind of Skinwalker as well into one bundle, which I know they're all not. They are all three separate things. Not Deer and Skinwalker are kind of close, though, ish. So I don't have a ton of accurate information about the Wendigo specifically, but I've got bits that I've heard.
Yeah. Usually it smells of rotten flesh.
Yep.
It kind of is rotten all over and usually looks like a deer or an elk or something with antlers. I have been recently somewhat listening to. It usually just turns on because it's recommended right after I get done listening to Distractable. I think it's called Just Creepy Stories.
Interesting.
So it goes over what this guy has found on the internet, and he retells the story. And
Sound like the Magnus Archives.
yeah,
Magnus Archives would be an audio drama, though. So
I know, but
Yeah.
same
It's
type
a-
of.
the one that I typically listen to, aside from the Magnus Archives, is called Creepcast. So it, do you know who Meat Canyon or Papa Meat are?
Nope.
Those YouTube channels. Okay. He did a bunch of animations and stuff, but it's him and then another YouTube channel called Wendigoon. And what they do is they find internet horror stories from like the No Sleep Reddit. I can't remember what else. They just did one on the SCP Foundation. I can't think of the other one, which is really big that they pull from. But what they do is they retell the story with their own comedy. So it is always a horror or suspense story, but with their interjections, it makes it also quite humorous to listen to.
this usually just takes those internet stories and just retells them.
Mhm.
But he has also done some stories about like disappearances in state parks
Yeah.
and stuff like that. They could be murders. Yeah. But there's been a few about one that I remember that I think is a Wendigo. It might have been false deer,
Not here, yeah.
not deer.
Not you.
But it was about this story of a guy. He was taking his walk. He was with his dog, and there was this deer, and this deer transformed into pretty much what the Wendigo looks like.
That I believe is a not.
Okay.
I don't believe the Wendigo disguises itself as a deer. I could be wrong on that. But I know that's what if I'm correct, that's what a not deer typically does. It disguises itself
Yeah.
as either a deer or some other.
But he also had the smell of rotten flesh.
Yes, and I don't know what
So-
carries over between the two, and I don't know what's
Yeah.
different about
They're
the two.
simple. They may be the same thing, but
I don't believe this.
maybe who knows. But anyways,
No one.
he gets attacked by this thing. His dog gets injured, and it ends up like whispering. I think like I am the guardian or protector of this forest or something like that. It was weird.
The not deer or him?
The not deer.
Oh.
Until it's like the not deer was called away or something like that. It was weird.
There's a squirrel in trouble. I must go.
Yes. But the Wendigo is kind of
Not gonna lie, I don't think it's the deer and the not deer that are guardians of the forest. I think it's the squirrels that call out your location to them.
yeah. No, they're the alert system.
No, those are the crows.
But anyways, yeah, it's the Wendigo is I don't know what the Wendigo really is. I didn't really do much research on it. It's always kind of this rotten, massive flesh, rotting being
Mm-hmm.
that kind of just is horrifying.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I know much about this at all, to be honest. Cryptids, Wendigo, Bigfoot. I don't know much information about them at all. They're not my territory, we'll say. But I do believe there is weird things that do happen.
I don't have as much information about stuff like the Wendigo or Bigfoot. Like I said, it's kind of just been bits and pieces here and there, and some of it is obviously a jumble of Wendigo, Skinwalker, Not Deer, all of those kind of mix into one. One of the first Creepcast episodes I listened to, though, brought attention to a story that I really liked on the No Sleep Reddit, which the way that Reddit thread works is any story you put on there has to be put on there as like somebody asking for information or assistance about whatever it is they're dealing with. So it's all treated as like it's a true post.
Yeah.
And that one was what that story was someone who had worked for national parks
Yeah.
and then eventually got let go and is now kind of blowing the whistle on all the supernatural things that happen in state parks that they're all covering up.
Touch the viewers.
hit the camera.
You kick the viewers. How dare you?
I'm sorry. What more do you want from me? But the one that really stood out from that story was Stairway in the Woods.
Oh,
Which is just walking through the woods and there's just a stairway there. And if you walk to the top of the stairway, you're effectively not heard from again.
Interesting.
I've heard about that one a lot. And that one strangely seems to pick up a lot too.
That one
It does.
really spread. That specifically from that story really spread around and spurred off a whole bunch of other stories similar to it.
Yeah, I've heard a story of this ranger. This was also on the same podcast, and it was pretty much her retelling a lot of the other stories that she experienced because she worked in, I think, Yellowstone National Park. I want to say Yellowstone. It was some national park, but I'm pretty sure it was Yellowstone. But she experienced one a ladder that was in the woods, and there was a guy on the top of it. It was the middle of a clearing. It's really weird.
Just ladder.
It
Yes.
could be the same story because I know they didn't go through all of it because there is a lot of that one. But that does sound kind of on the same.
Yeah, but since the guy was on top, she touched the ladder, and the guy looked down and screamed, and then the ladder fell. Can't remember the whole story about it, but yeah.
And then there was no more guy?
Yeah, guy disappeared. It was really...
Strange things do happen in the woods. Especially when you're alone.
Dun-dun-dun.
Not gonna lie though, being in the woods alone is one of the most peaceful things.
It is. Until you hear that snap of a twig from what you could only hope is miles away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can turn around and you realize there's a squirrel running through the brush. God dang it! You put your gun back down, waiting for another deer to come.
Exactly.
Yeah, she had some weird stories. I think there was one where she was on a trip with an older ranger, and there was this being, I can't remember the being's what it looked like or anything, but the older ranger was like, hey, don't do anything, don't look at it, get in the ranger, leave.
Mhm.
It's like he
Yeah, he's
jumped
a
into
thing.
it again. Yeah.
He's a thing.
Then
We
there was
ignore
one
him.
where I
This
think
is
she-
Fred. We do not acknowledge Fred. Fred gets very angry when people look at him funny. We don't know what looking at him funny is. We just don't look at him.
Yep.
Yeah, and then there was this one story about a guy falling into one of the hot springs. I believe it's the big one by
He just wanted a bath.
what was it called? By Old Faithful.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the Opal Pools or something. I was there too. I know what they're talking about, but anyways, it's very deep. But it was strange how he felt. Like it didn't make sense how he fell in, or why he fell in.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
That was Daniel. Daniel doesn't understand that the water needs to be a correct temperature for you to swim in. Otherwise, you become soup.
Because he had no suicide notes or anything like that.
He was just found in there.
His leg was found.
Ah.
Hmm.
More like his foot was found still in the shoe.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be surprised how many bodies are found by a shoe
Yes.
that has a foot in it.
Or just a bit of hair.
Mm-hmm.
Sticking with national parks and stuff. I believe it was a grizzly bear was killed, and when they cut it open, they did find a chunk of hair from a woman who was missing.
Well, we know what ended up, how she ended.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's go move on to skinwalkers because they're the interesting ones, I think.
Oh, I think they're all interesting.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Are they the ones who mimic voices? I think they are.
I think typically skinwalkers. I know skinwalkers have been, are rumored to mimic humans, but I think it's typically animals. Doppelganger is more likely the one which will mimic both a person and voice. That one is usually yourself, though. Is what you'll encounter. You'll encounter a doppelganger of yourself rather than somebody else.
If you're walking in the woods and see
I
thought
thought
staring
I
back.
had heard a story about a skinwalker, and how it
Finish
mimics
taking your
voices.
selfie and put the phone back in your pocket.
How it mimics voices of people that you known or if it's heard and tries to lure you into the like brush and stuff to capture you.
That was actually one of the Creepcast episodes I more recently listened to. I can't remember what the other name of the story is, but it was like My Romantic Getaway or something. But it's a couple that moved or that visited a cabin out in Colorado. There were a bunch of weird interactions with the woods and the forest. And eventually the man saw his wife just run straight into the forest, and when he went out to follow her, he heard her calling him back from the cabin.
Which one's real?
Yep. And the way that one worked is it would get you to sleepwalk and talk to it so that it could mimic your voice so that it could go after other people.
Yeah, there's this other one.
It went from, I will say, it went from the guy having pretty, like, really good horror survival skills to those slowly getting chipped away and him going almost psychotic, trying to figure out what was going on, how to stop it, and stuff. So that one was actually pretty entertaining. The ending was kind of disappointing, kind of a letdown. Kind of went, oh, now it's resolved now. Cool.
Yeah.
But all in all, the story was
We
pretty
got
good.
in the car and we left. And then I heard on the news that she died there.
Oh no, they made it all the way back to their house, and she was still acting up like she was out in the cabin. And then he eventually went back to try and figure out what was going on and stuff. That one was interesting. That one was actually based off of a Native American creature of legend, I believe.
Yeah, there was this one I remember of mimicry of voices where this guy, he was coming down from a gift shop of some sort that was kind of on top of a mountain. So he had to come down to this cabins where the workers stayed.
Mm-hmm.
And on his way down, he was taking, the path, and then he heard his buddy off to like the right of him, and his cabin was like 100 feet or so from him on his right. And he heard his buddy, and he's like, "Oh, my buddy's wants to go on a night hike." But then all of a sudden, from the porch, he heard his buddy say, "Hey,
Who are you talking to?
who are you talking to?"
Yep.
That he's like, "Wait, what?" And then he saw this pale, translucent figure kind of run past him.
Mm-hmm. The moment in the story I listened to, when the man's wife runs out into the woods, that was when things really started to shift. So there's two theories that I know run behind it, is that the woman he saw running into the woods was actually his wife and she had been replaced already. The other theory was that it was trying to lure him out there.
Mm-hmm.
And it is completely open to speculation as to which one it actually was. But that was a very pivotal moment in that, because the woman he saw running to the woods didn't speak to him. So the running theory is it didn't have a copy of her voice yet, just her looks. And that's why I didn't say anything to him. Otherwise, it was... they didn't want him to recognize that this was his wife. They wanted him to think that, oh no, the one in the house is still...
Yeah. Or is it?
That's the question. That still hasn't been completely answered. Although by the ending, it does seem like it was actually his wife still in the house, but... Like I said, the ending was kind of like, we made the phone call, or we got called by this person, and this person fixed everything for us.
They reset it.
Yeah. I've been hearing a few Bigfoot stories. They're always interesting because Bigfoot doesn't really attack. He just kind of stand there and be like, nah.
He's a Bigfoot.
He's
He's
an
a
interesting
man
guy.
in the woods that just wants to be left alone, man.
That's what it seems, because some Bigfoot stories, this guy walks the trail and he finds like a teepee one time and he goes checks it out. Next time he comes, strangely enough, there's a carcass of like a rabbit or something like that. And it doesn't look like it's rabbit kill. It looks like it was placed there.
And then you
Just
hear
a hermit
roar.
that lives in the woods that hasn't had a haircut in a while.
I know. Just
Yeah.
man in the woods, leave him be.
There's that one, and then I saw another one about friends traveling through the woods and then seeing Bigfoot kind of like just stare and having them. Yeah.
So, as you two know, and now the rest of our audience, I was homeschooled from elementary all throughout high school. And my family was part of a homeschool group of, I can't remember how many families, but it's been going on since my mom was still in high school. And what one of my aunts and a bunch of their friends did as a film project for it, was they made a video about aliens. And that one was really entertaining, and then every so often they'd have someone in the green alien with just the huge eyes, in a suit like that, just run through interacting with one of the dogs on the farm, getting chased by one of the dogs, or just kind of coming in and waving in the background. It's just a whole bit on whether or not aliens exist from all these different characters. And me and my sister were talking about doing one like that for Bigfoot, something along the same lines. And we had a decent chunk of it. We had a decent chunk of it done and ready. It was just going to be this great comedy bit, and then stuff got really busy for us. We never got that one off the ground. I do want to actually talk to her and see if she wants to go back and actually make that a thing now, because I think that'd be fun.
How much have you guys heard or know about Bigfoot and his behaviors?
The fact that he runs around the woods with a straw hat and a skateboard.
Okay.
Go off on the obscure comedic tangents about Bigfoot.
No, I was more talking about his knocks, his calls.
I have heard about some of that stuff.
Yeah, it makes it feel like there is a little bit more validity behind it. Because if you ever do watch we're hunting Bigfoot.
Yeah.
They do get close. That could totally be fake. Could totally be fake. Easily faked. But if it is not faked, hey,
it's enough evidence that it actually does have some validity behind it. But it is easy enough that it could be fake.
Yeah.
And I am a skeptic. So,
yeah, exactly. I think we're all a little bit skeptics here, especially when it comes to Bigfoot.
So I have found an Instagram channel of somebody who's started making, I believe, AI Bigfoot videos for shorts.
God.
They're actually kind of entertaining.
We got AI being Bigfoot now. No, Bigfoot does exist. It's just AI.
Yeah.
That one.
It's the rogue AI.
It's pretty entertaining.
Birds don't exist.
They make
AI Bigfoot could be.
They make Bigfoot out to be like this friendly type guy.
You ever
that will give you camping advice.
You ever talk to anyone who actually does believe that birds are drones for the government?
No, I don't want to.
I haven't talked to anyone personally, but I've heard people talk about it that believe it, and it's interesting.
I've seen someone just grab a seagull out of the sky. The government would let that slip.
No, that's how well they're hidden. You would never know.
Yeah, and then I tell them, I've gone goose hunting.
It's the same level of absurdity that somebody launched himself into space to try and prove that, or somebody attempted to launch himself into space so that he could take pictures to prove that the Earth was flat. And
did he do it in a launcher and a whole bunch of helium balloons?
I believe so.
Yeah. Don't try that at home, kids. It's not worth it. It's really not.
But the view!
God.
The view, but they will scramble the jets for you.
We'll go over those conspiracy
Unidentified,
theories
that's a
later.
man in a launcher. What the?
We'll go over conspiracy theories like that later. It's another episode entirely.
Conspiracy theories are so fun.
Oh,
Not gonna lie.
I do know.
I want to
do
an episode of conspiracy theories, but
Once again, I don't buy into very many, if any at all.
yeah.
But they're so fun to just kind of dig around with and go like, okay, there's a few where it's like enough stuff lines up that it could be possible.
Mhm.
Like, I can see where people are making
I like
arguments
poking
from.
holes, and then the people who actually believe in it start patching the holes, and then either I will be like, okay, it could be.
Yep. And then there are some which are just so absurd that you don't understand how people actually defend it, such as the Earth being flat.
Butter.
Yeah.
And then there's
And I had
remember
friends
that Netflix series I showed you, Inside Job?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a pretty fun one.
I
that-
never finished it.
I need to finish it. I haven't watched the second season yet. But it's a TV show that makes fun of conspiracy theories, pretty much.
I see.
And in their world, their conspiracy theories are right. And they have a flat earther episode. But the earth isn't flat. It's hollow. In the show, it's hollow.
Stop
We
that.
created a conspiracy theory to cover up the conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
It's not flat.
No,
It's a
I
cube.
think I think the main character's dad made it the earth was flat to get on someone's ass or something like that. Because he's a psychopath.
I think it was like a bet to prove that you can get people to believe something as stupid as that.
Yes, I think it was.
No offense to all our flat earthers around there, but at least come up with a convincing argument, please. One of the arguments I've not heard personally, but have seen, was that because when you go up in a plane that's high enough altitude, you can see the curvature of the Earth.
Mhm.
Well, some people believe that the windows are made specifically to change the image of the Earth to look like that.
Solution: go in a plane without windows.
Hot air balloon.
No, just a plane without windows.
There are some people where if you were to send them to space, they would still argue that you did that it was faked.
Like the moon landing.
Show them out the door.
I'm joking.
Go look for yourself.
Have fun.
Back to scary things in our woods.
Ooh.
Nessie. Now this one has kind of been
Lake.
Oh,
but
I love Nessie.
yeah. I think Nessie's been the one to be debunked the most over the years.
So Nessie is one which I actually could believe was something that actually exists because we have had dinosaurs that very much so would resemble Nessie. It wouldn't surprise me like maybe one slipped under the radar because I mean how are you going to be able to scan the entirety of the ocean?
Yeah.
So Nessie's
that
one
one's
that I
okay.
actually, once again, I don't really believe too much about it, but it would 100%. I would 100% get behind if we did have legitimate proof that Nessie does exist. It's this dinosaur that we missed that it is still alive that we thought was extinct.
It lives at the bottom. The only reason I don't think Nessie could exist is the fact that Lake.
Yes, that is the one thing I will say. So Lake, don't really believe that, but it wouldn't surprise me if
Ocean.
yes,
I could get
100%.
behind if it was.
Like megalodons could still be alive. We've all seen Meg here, right?
Decent movie.
Yeah, decent movie, but the plot and
Second
how-
one was
I haven't watched the second one. I don't really want to watch it either.
I wouldn't recommend it.
But the plot of Meg is at the bottom of Marianas Trench. There's a false bottom of smoke,
What it is it's a
thermal layer, I think.
Yeah, some sort of thermal layer that actually keeps that warm enough that it sustained the ecosystem from like Jurassic and
Yes.
Cretaceous times.
So
Which
down there is
technically
megalodons.
kind of could be possible through
Once again.
volcanic events, but
Yes, it's something that if we had concrete proof of it, I would believe that.
Mhm.
That would that's logical.
then
But-
we're getting to Journey to Center Earth territory.
That's a good book. Not gonna lie, that is a good book.
It is. But yeah, the megalodon gets out because they breach the surface too fast, leaving a highway. Megs are able to get
It's
out.
warm enough to sustain the ecosystem, but that thermal layer is too warm for them to pass through and live. I think is what it was. And
Yeah.
then they broke through it fast enough that it basically, with them displacing the water, it let in the cold water behind them and then opened it up. And then the second one delves more into that whole Mariana Trench area and how it's not just that Meg. There are a bunch more creatures like that
Well,
that all of us started to escape, and then it delves into Hollow Earth and there being the entire ecosystem from.
Mm.
In Meg 2?
I believe so. Yeah.
I thought Meg 2 because I think I somewhat watched it. In the first movie, there's 2 Megs, I believe.
You might be right on that.
Because one dies and then the other one kills it or eats it while it's on the boat.
So
But-
Jaws, but
Yeah, pretty much. A bigger one. There's a bigger one? But anyways, I think in the second movie, there's more of a human presence in the bottom of the trench. And there's like illegal mining or something like that happening.
I'm not entirely sure. It's been
Yeah.
a while since I watched it. I just know I didn't like it
Of
as much
course,
as the
with
first
every movie involving humans and untapped or undiscovered resource, we swarm to it like cockroaches.
Yeah, but the underwater base is like really, really shitty. It's not a good
Of course,
underwater
because no
base.
one wants to pay for it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What other?
Yeah,
well, there's the chupacabra.
Nessie. Yeah. Ooh,
Yeah,
the
so
goat eater.
Yeah, bloodsucker.
Meg and Nessie are ones that I could believe that I would put a bit more faith
Yeah.
in than the Wendigo and Skinwalker.
The ocean's really, really big, and we just haven't explored all of it yet.
We know more about space than we do the deepest part of our own ocean.
Yeah, they actually kind of stopped exploring the ocean as much to go to space. What does that tell you? That's a conspiracy theory, though, so we can save that for another episode.
Yeah.
That is by far one of my favorites, though, is that when we stopped or, like, didn't explore the ocean as much, that's when NASA really got started.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the conspiracy theory of, so what did we find in the ocean that's caused us to look for some way to get off this planet? is by far one of my favorite conspiracy
What
theories.
did
to
we
just
find that we
toy
did
around
not
with.
like?
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. We can get into that one on another episode.
And I think this might have to be our last.
Chupacabra.
Wow.
Looks like you have information about the chupacabra.
No. I just like the translation.
What does chupacabra translate to? I don't actually know.
It's. I want to say it's either like a bloodsucker or goat eater.
Could we ask Angelica from Pages of Ink?
Vampire
Would you
bat,
know?
but fruit bat sized, I believe. I don't know that much about chupacabra. I know much.
Yeah.
I know more
I
about
know-
cobra.
translation.
Oh, you already got it. I was about to look it up.
Goat sucker.
Goat
Oh,
size.
so you
Split the
did say-
difference.
But yeah,
Easy one. Yeah, large vampire bats. That's what vampire bats do. Feed off of is typically farm animals. So
Mhm.
cows, goats, and stuff like that.
yeah, but this thing's like bigger,
Fruit bat sized. Those things are crazy.
yes, they are.
but bigger than a fruit bat. I think. I can't remember.
I would agree.
I'm
with
gonna
that.
chihuahua size.
There's like multiple other ones out there too. Like a lot of variations of Bigfoot. Yeti being one of them, which is
Yeti's
Pretty
just
much
cold
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
yeah. There's other ones of like wolf walking things that
Werewolves,
Yeah.
effectively.
effectively werewolves, but don't
Lichens?
transfer. No, not lichens.
So not transforming, but werewolf-like.
Werewolf like they
A
say.
wereman.
Effectively, a werewolf that's just a wolf that did that, not something that transformed. So similar to going to D&D, Knoll, but
Yeah.
wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are so many out there, and there are so many different variations on all these stories. I think we would need
Interesting.
a couple hours to go over all these.
To go over all of them, that
Days.
make an entire podcast just for that.
And today we're going over Wendigo. The Wendigo. Anyway, that is all we have time for this episode. So let us know what you think. Do you have any crazy stories of your own? Or any creepy scenarios happening in your backwoods? Let us know.
And we just might talk about it.
Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in here and watching Zany Talks. And we will see you later.
Bye bye.
So long.